Hits and Crits. This video is brought to you by Asmodee and Fantasy Welt.
What's up, Hits and Crits family? Welcome to this very special episode on custom factions. And a lot of you know that I love to talk about, custom things. We did the custom contests back on units, on NCUs already, and all of that. So all of the Hits and Crits team love custom factions, and also Pascal does it, right? Pascal loves custom factions. So this will be our first video on two custom factions. We will cover Tyrell and Tully today. Most of you know there are two more, which are the White Walkers and House Arryn. And we will cover that in another video. But today, those two awesome houses. Pascal, great to have you.
Hi, welcome.
So let's kick things off with House Tully. So House Tully, obviously part of the, or not part, but really close to the Starks. Pascal, kick it off.
Yeah, so House Tully is actively developed by Kullvox, who's a longtime member on the international Discord, and he's taken some inspiration from, I feel like, House Stark and House Baratheon gameplay-wise, and melts it down into this new House Tully, which has several rather famous houses under its belt to play with.
So, and the first one that comes to, or the first ones that come to mind are probably Blackwood and Bracken, which has that huge, both houses have a huge rivalry going on. So, yeah, these are probably the two most famous, but there are more. So we are at House Melister also is strongly connected, along with the not that well known House Went. Yeah. Anything on those?
Yeah, so the main theme for Blackwood and Bracken is the rivalry between them. That's in the history of A Song of Ice and Fire, a long ongoing theme. We've seen it in the series with House of the Dragon, especially, where it's kind of focused on, where these two houses clash behind the scenes against each other. And House Went is mostly known for a short part of owning Harrenhal.
But very short, right?
Yeah, very short before the Lannisters sack Harrenhal and build their base there.
Okay. All right. So we talked about this rivalry between Blackwood and Bracken, and we can definitely also see this in the design of House Tully. So let's jump into House Blackwood Prowlers and House Bracken Dragoons. There, it's very clear where Kullvox is trying to go to lead with his design.
Yeah. So in this iteration, it's still everything is actively worked on. So there may be balancing updates in the future, but right now the rivalry is shown as points increases if you want to field a Black House Bracken or House Blackwood unit together in your army. If you play them alone without an affiliation attachment or another unit from the enemy house, your unit stays the same cost, like for example the House Bracken Dragoons stay as 6 points. But if you add House Blackwood Prowlers or a House Blackwood attachment, then the cost increases to 7 points. So kind of like a reverse House Brotherhood, like a reverse Brotherhood without banners rule.
Yeah.
Regarding attachments.
And we talked about it before. I think it's really interesting to show the rivalry, but we talked about it before. That might lead players to choose one over the other and basically forget about one, probably, because we all know how expensive 1 point, even though it's 1 point in this game, could be. Correct?
Yeah. So if you want to play both houses together, you get an additional 2 point tax on your units. And in my point of view, not a general view, only in my point of view, this is a little bit too much to warrant the usage of these two units in an army.
Okay. Did you like, I know beforehand you already tried these on TTS.
Yeah.
So did you get that feeling of this is too expensive? Did you try that combo, or
I didn't
is
try.
that just a pure
I didn't
feeling?
try it because the 2-point text was already felt like too much.
Oh, okay. So you
Was
build
this
around it. Okay.
game then, and looking at the individual power, it just doesn't feel that good. And yeah, I as I've seen, not many players have actually played House Blackwood and House Bracken together.
Yeah,
As
let's
far as
see. I mean, let's see. And I'm really interested on what Kullvox can do in the future with that. But in general, if no one really tried it, I mean, let's see, right? Maybe it's a good choice. But like, okay, so cool. But before we start in any further, I know we live in times of AI and everything, but I really appreciate the artwork in this whole thing. As I put together the video, I was really digging all the artwork and how on point the designs of the cards were. So you can really look forward to that one. Okay, so let's jump further. So now there's House Melister Watchman and Shella Went. So the other two houses involved in House Tully. Guide us through it.
Yeah, so House Melister has at least 3 units right now. The Watchman, the Marksman, and the House Melister Eagle Guardians. And Shella Went is the master, the former master of House Harrenhal, and her theme is kind of digging into a panic list. So House Tully has several playstyles under their belt.
Okay, she has once per game when an enemy unit is performing a panic test before rolling a panic test dice, that enemy becomes panicked and suffers +1 wound on failure. Once per game. Okay.
But you get increased hand size.
But you get increased hand size. I was just thinking that once per game part seems weak. I mean, when you compare
I
that
feel
to...
like it's enough for 4 points. If you compare it to something like Samuel Tarley, he only has 4 cards. And as an additional selling point, he has Jilly. But I feel like Shella Went with increased hand size plus this once per game effect is fine.
Yeah, it's probably balanced. I'm just thinking it seems a little, I don't know. But yeah, just my initial feeling on this one.
Yeah, and the House Melister Watchman may look weak, but I've in my first or second game, I've got a Tyrell commander with Relentless in let me think, which unit was it? In House Highgarden Pikeman, charging into them with Relentless and just getting obliterated through Counter-Strike. No weakened tokens, just getting more hits back as it was a really ridiculous game.
Okay. Do the other units, because you said the House Melister is bringing a little bit of like panic kind of style play.
House Went.
Sorry, House Went. Are there any units also going that route, like Went units that go that route, or is it just the NCU?
Right now there are no exclusive House Went units, just House Went themed attachments. So her commander version has an extra attachment we will see later, and another attachment that really fits the idea of House of Harrenhal and the surrounding lore. I feel it's a very fitting idea how Kullvox designed Shella Went and everything regarding House Harrenhal.
Okay, let's see. So, but before we go to House Went, or back to House Went, we have Jason Melister, commander, and and one of the tactics cards of House Tully.
So the focus, why we are showing Jason Melister and Shella Went in the next slides, is to show the unique ideas that Kullvox gathered for designing this faction. Like Family First is in this iteration completely new. You have an interesting trigger that you can always use. It is like what is a fitting comparison? Ha. Just that you suffer wounds to heal wounds and other or just to get buffs in another unit is a really nice idea.
Oh,
Really
you mean
well,
from greater number? You mean like to?
yeah,
Yeah.
this would be a fitting comparison, for
Yeah.
example.
Yeah.
So suffering wounds to get bonuses at another place, or like Jason Medister, who's similar to his father. What was his name? Dennis. So Dennis, or what was
Dennis
it his
Mellister.
father? I don't know, or
Dennis
uncle.
Mellister. So,
Yeah, Dennis Mellister, who has
yeah.
also an ability that searches for a tactics card to attach to his
Exactly.
commanding unit. So Jason Mellister has the same, except it's battle endurance, which is a really fitting card for
Really
his
fitting
for this
card, yeah.
commander, and gives a lot of interesting combinations with other characters to play with. So yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I like that because it's renowned commander, and Sir Dennis Mellister has dutiful commander.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Yeah, cool. So that's that. Next up would be there's Shella Went again, but now the commander version. So
Yes. So as you can see, her main theme is the panic theme. We will see it later in her tactics card also. So the Harrenhal Headsman is like a combination of insight with a conditional intimidating presence. And she has the exclusive ability that she can fit another attachment in her unit with Willis Ward, who gains Vicious and Warcry. So she can solely play with a panic focus in mind.
But Willis Woad can only be field when Shella Went commander is in. Yeah, okay.
And in the unit Shella is in.
Oh, same unit. Okay, but
It's the same unit.
okay,
And,
but no connection with the NCU.
Correct.
Correct. Okay. Cool.
And with Shella Went, you have to make the decision if you want to play her aggressively, because with rights to Harrenhal, she may grant an additional victory point if she gets destroyed.
But also vice versa, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. Okay, so there's the cards you talked about. One general tactics cards and Curse of Harrenhal.
Yeah, just to showcase the new ideas that Kullvox has gathered in designing this faction. Like all rivalries is something where we haven't really seen before, because it's kind of like sand diplomacy. You could say that each player chooses something. In this case, an attachment, and by resolving this card, both attachments lose all abilities. With the prevalence of attachments right now, I feel like this is a really nice looking card, really interesting card to weaken the enemy army. And if you play it at the right time, you can, like for example, let's say you may, you may weaken Oberyn. Or so Oberyn loses all abilities and can after that destroy him because he doesn't get Manticore Venom and everything else. You get your own abilities back. So or otherwise, if you don't like to use old rivalries, you can just play draw a tactics card. And for Curse of Harrenhal, that is also a new condition. That's let's call it a condition that this is the first exclusive card that can get attached to
a terrain piece.
A terrain piece, yeah.
Cool.
That's a better version of the corpse pile.
Yeah, we know Grim Reminder from Remorseless Examples, right? No, yeah, exactly. And but this one is really cool. So because I thought about when I think about Remorseless Examples, or when I think about what's his name from the Starks that plays around terrain,
Yeah,
that guy, right?
that guy.
That Cranogman guy. So I always thought about there might be in the future some stuff around terrain. So you place some terrain piece there, certain terrain piece, and they gain something, right? So that's cool. That's in here. But one question on old rivalries. I mean, when you do that, let's just imagine then your list build would probably be you yourself as a Tully player will probably stay away from like really OP attachments, right? You will probably go for a list build where you have like decent attachments across the board, and hope for that your opponent brings something like Oberyn, Victorian Greyjoy, right?
I feel like Old Rivalries is a card that can function in nearly every setup because it's in a base deck.
Yeah.
If you don't want to lose in strong attachment, you can just discard it and draw a new card.
Sure, but if you want to play it, I mean, if you really want to use it.
If you want to play it, looking at every faction, right now we have several commanders or 2-point, 3-point attachments that are played quite often. So as you said, like Victorian, either commander or attachment. And being able to disable them, especially for aggressive commanders like Victorian, is really, really strong. And even if you might lose your attachment, as long as you may stall out the big play of the Victorian player, I feel like this card is quite huge.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Played in the right moment. Yeah. All right, so further down. These awesome, hopefully 7 points. 7-point House Melister Eagle Guardians.
So, regarding the House Melister Eagle Guardians, if you play the TTS version right now, there are 2 different versions, right, in this moment, and it's heavily discussed which version actually feels better. So, this version we see here is kind of like a reverse Casterly Rock Honor Guard, because this unit gets buffed if it has condition token on itself, not on the enemy unit. So it gets precision, crit blow, sundering, and can heal itself if it makes a melee attack, which is really, really strong. But I feel like the old version also feels very interesting because it allows different effects that are quite new and not just plain keywords. So I feel like, in addition with Eagle's Deliverance, to put condition tokens from your friendly units onto this unit, it's a really nice design, really cool to play with. In this version, even in this version or the old version, both feel really interesting. Very, very good design.
Yeah, especially with Eagle's Deliverance, right? Because they can pull tokens to themselves if they need it. So or when they need it. So that's cool. Right, so Rosalind Frey, first thing I thought was, there were attractive Freys also, and you said yes, definitely. So tell me about Rosalind Frey.
So Rosalind Frey is one of the few attractive Freys in House Frey because
thank you.
Edmund Tully's biggest fear that he may have to marry an ugly Frey wife.
Yeah.
So he was pleasantly surprised when he's
by Rosalind.
Rosalind. Yeah. So she's one of the few NCUs similar to Walder Frey that she may give you the first turn of the active player.
Yeah. You become first player. Yeah.
That you become first player, but at a hefty price because you have to sacrifice one of your friendly NCUs for it. So she's
other than Rosalind for especially Rosalind, yes. Because she's naked afterwards, right? So she has nothing after her effect, and you killed another NCU.
Yeah. So she's kind of between Walder Frey and Crescent from the House Baratheon.
True.
Who sacrifices Elsa himself to that you get your first activation, but in this case, maybe in the future it will be. That the friendly NCU is destroyed at the end of the round, but let's test it further.
Yeah. All right. Lastly, Hoster Tully, the well-known Hoster Tully, an NCU commander, second in the game, unofficial, but second in the game.
Yeah. So as you said, the second NCU commander with some predictable maneuvers is already known, but with 2 new abilities like True Agenda and Battlefield Provisions. So as you can see, again, there is some design inspiration from House Stark and House Baratheon. So Battlefield Provisions is an AoE or several, let's say AoE condition removal. And with True Agenda, you have the ability to make new or free actions if you move the enemy NCUs around. And his own ability is, I feel like, kind of strong because each time you claim the letters, you draw an additional tactics card. Or if you claim the horses, the targeted unit gets an additional movement for its action.
Unit targeted by this
and
zone.
Also he gets a free commander attachment on the battlefield.
Yeah, and which one is that?
Well, we look.
Because that was what I was thinking. I did because I looked through our script and I was thinking, what is the attachment that he brings automatically?
Yeah, his attachment is Carol Vance with the dispatched by Riverrun ability. That's actually says if you activate Hoster, you can immediately after Hoster you may activate Carol Vance unit, and he also has Relentless.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
But we don't want to spoil everything about
the
House Tully and Tyrell. We want you to dive into DTS and try them out for yourselves.
Definitely. Good bridge to the next topic, because we want to even dive deeper into this one. So House Tyrell, I actually just knew let's say the fourth iteration of this. So who's behind House Tyrell, and what can we expect?
Yeah, so House Tyrell was initially developed by Stormlord, who has departed from Song, but maybe in the future he may come back. And as I know, Stormlord is from Germany, as I've heard. And House Tyrell feels similar to House Baratheon in playstyle, because there are some overlapping units with the Renly side, and we will see definitely the inspiration from House Baratheon and several tactics cards and ideas with the units.
Yeah. Obvious fit, because we already have some Tyrell units in the official game, so that's a natural fit. But there is way more than we know from the Baratheon playstyle. So, but first, before we take a look at some Texas cards, obviously we have House Redwine involved, then Hightower, also obvious, and Tully. Anything you want to add, with your extreme deep lore knowledge on this one?
Yeah, I feel like that these are the most well-known houses in the Reach. All fitting choices for House Redwine has the Marines. And the shipyard and I think the second biggest fleet in Westeros. House Tully and the Huntsmen and their Huntsmen, I feel like fitting choice, often requested as a new Baratheon unit, like a long-ranged Renly-sided unit from House Tully and House Hightower. Yeah, nothing to add to House Hightower.
Okay. What I really like about the whole House Tyrell theme, and what I really like about the Renly side, is that in the lore, it's totally obvious that House Tyrell, never was never had the crown, really, was never on the throne, but tried to build partnerships through marriage, right? So really peaceful marriage, political, but also always with their agenda, and this whole theme of wealth, extreme wealth, and these strategic partnerships, marriage, power through marriage and stuff is really reflected in the Baratheon Renly side, but also in this one. So let's dive deeper into this. So we have the coolest Sir Loras Tyrell on a horse. Yeah. On a horse.
Give me that. Finally, his solo model requested a lot in the Baratheon channels with regarding new units. So now he gets his, let's say, Tournay version, where he's an excellent rider. Even in the first tournament we see in the Song of Ice and Fire universe in the books, in the Game of Thrones, in the first book. He's in the final against Sir Gregor Clegane on the mount,
the mountain,
and dismounts him. So I feel like this iteration as the riding champion feels very fitting for a jousting champion with Sundering. He's good against solo models or units on the last rank. Cool idea.
Yeah, really cool idea. And I might add, for those that don't know, why it is so heavily requested is not only because it's Sir Loras Tyrell and it could be a great miniature and all that kind of stuff, because also House Renly does not have a solo cav attachment or a cavalry attachment, right? As the Stannis side, who has the Dragonstone Noble. So this would be great for the Renly side as well. Okay, so how's Redwine Marines?
Yeah, interesting idea to have a unit that feels fitting on ships, especially for this time where most engagements are first decided between the bowman units on the ships present. So this unit feels, for 7 points, feels good. I think we have always rerolls, even on range attacks, even if they are only short range. So they feel like on par, with for comparison
with the Skyreach. Oh, the Sand Skirmishes. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought
same armor, same moral. Both have rerolls. The first with scout openings, and these guys with naval training, and they can dish out an additional vulnerable token if they are in short range of an enemy unit. Very versatile, and with everything else the House Redwine can bring to the table, very good unit.
Yeah, looks like it. What I meant by Skyreach Bowman is on the right side, their abilities, they make me think about the Skyreach Bowman because of the rerolls and the vulnerable token, right? So that's why I thought about Skyreach Bowman. But definitely a short range. It's more like, as you said, like they want to, Sand Skirmishes. They want to go in, right? Because of the 7-on-3 and melee also, so they can really hold their ground, and the 4 armor is decent too. All right.
There is an attachment we will see later that really fits into this unit, for example.
Okay, let's see. So we have Tarly Gatekeeper here. That's probably not the one you talk about, but also House Hightower Guards.
Yeah. So just to why we choose these units and attachments, we want to show as many representative units and attachments from each house as much as possible, but don't want to spoil everything regarding each sub-house. So you all have still something new to discover while you jump into the TTS. So regarding House Hightower, I know that the idea behind these guys was that the later they activate, the stronger they get. So because ideally you have 3 NCUs on the board before you activate them, so they can get all these nice looking bonuses. And even if they are kind of expensive with 7 points and only hit on +4, I've already heard that
and 4 movement.
They are still strong enough.
Yeah. The 4 movement seems a little, I don't know, but for 7 points, I mean, but yeah.
But we got Rose Knights are also slow with a defensive profile of 3+ armor. I think that is not the main issue, if there is one.
If there is one, okay. Yeah, I never tried it, but I will. I will definitely in the future. So okay, so next up, there is Randall Tarly, which we also know from the show. So intimidating reputation, Iron Willed and Shrewd, and Hornhill Planning, all new cards, nothing we know. So that's interesting. And he comes with
his other version has also a new ability, which feels very balanced in this case, because with Flogging Stragglers you can make your units move faster. So plus with a unit with only 4 movement,
as we've just seen,
5, and it even may pivot before marching. So that's a very strong ability that we only see on attachments right now, and not in this kind of weakened um, use case. Let's call it like that, because it has price. Your unit becomes panic, but at an additional benefit of getting +1 movement and may even pivoting before marching. So really cool idea. Feels fitting from the name and the ability together. I like it.
Yeah, sounds really good. Anything on the tactics cards?
Yeah, so on the next slide we'll get into his main tactics card, I feel like. So let's go to intimidating reputation. This is kind of between bribery and the closest part would be bribery. So if you can attach it to an enemy unit, the enemy unit suffers -1 to morale test rolls, and if it's engaged with the House Tully unit or with Randall Tully himself, the bonuses stack up higher. So this card gets stronger if Randall Tully can get into the fray. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Then let's go to more tactics. Hornhill planning. That's the additional one you talked about. And yes. Arbor Lookout.
So this sheet shows the design inspiration for the similarities between House Tyrell and House Baratheon. As you can see, Finesse and Focus looks and feels like ours is the Fury.
And Focus.
With controlling up to 2 zones to get additional bonuses like vulnerable sundering or rerolling attack dice. With ours as the Fury, it is the same regarding the zones with Lattice and Crown, and you get Vicious, Sundering, and +1 to hit. So both awesome cards you want to play.
Yeah.
And there's another attachment that works really well with Finesse and Focus. You should definitely try the combination with it. And Hornhill Planning is another interesting new mechanic we haven't really seen, if I remember correctly. So you can attach it to a friendly infantry unit, and it gives the friendly unit a pseudo cavalry move at the start of its activation. Or if you don't want to use the sudden movement, it gets additional +1 to move for until the end of the game, if you want. And regarding the Red Wine Marines, as I've talked about, here you can see the Arbor Lookout, which brings us a new ability in the name of Far Eye, or in the order of Far Eye, which gives a ranged unit the ability to attack on long range, kind of like the Dothraki Outriders.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool new ideas we see here.
All new. All new innovative ideas. I really like that. Yeah. Let's see how that balances. Is there any, from your experience, how many games did you play with these custom factions, with these two?
Right now, 3 or 4.
3 or 4. Is there anything you would definitely identified where you're saying this needs work, or are you saying that needs more testing? I feel it's well balanced for now, or from 3-4 games. What do you say?
Yeah. So we, as several playtesters, not me alone with Kullvox, as Kullvox has already gathered some good players from around the community, who all give their feedback, and which is gathered. I think that's the strongest I felt like is a certain House Tully attachment, NCU, Ryman the Rhymer, which gives kind of he's the bard that plays during, if I remember correctly, during the marriage of Rosalind and Edmure, but he gives he has an influence ability that gives the House Tully unit +1 to hit and +1 to moral, and that can really escalate.
Yeah.
On your units for just 4 points. I feel like
that sounds strong right off the bat.
Yeah,
and not even knowing what units come into play. So
yeah. The best comparison would be something like Corrin that just gives +1 attack die.
Yeah, just one die, not to hit,
so,
which we all know is quite a difference. If you have one more die and +1 to hit.
So +1 to hit and +1 attack die, +1 to moral tests. And,
It is strong.
House Tully has several moral test modifiers, like as you've seen with Jason Mallister and Bolden, you can give all your House Tully units quite a high moral, and in combination with House Tully Cavaliers, we all hate them. Healing everywhere.
Healing everywhere. Okay. Yeah, cool. So I hope we made everyone interested and excited about these two factions. Again, I remind you, we will have another video on the other two custom factions. But how can you play that now? So we mentioned TTS quite often, but how do you find it on TTS? So on the TTS, on the left side, when you have chosen your side, on the left side of the board, you see...
Now, if you red player, it's on the right side.
Oh, yeah, true. It doesn't turn... Yeah, so on the right or the left, so where you see this from the starter box, that graphic from the starter box, on the lower right corner, you see spawn factions. And there is cmon official. And when you click on it, on cmon official, you can switch between homebrew and official. And there you can spawn House Tully and Tyrell for now. So yeah, feel invited to try that out. And another thing we want to announce is we will open up a channel on our Discord where you can totally dive deep into all of these custom factions. The other two will be from BoardMan Gaming. But again, that will be on another video. But we will open the channel right as we speak in this video. So the channel will be open. Jump on it and discuss everything with the moderator, which is Pasha as well. So he will own that channel for now. For now. But if you're interested to become a mod, always reach out. All right. Anything to add here?
Yeah, just feel free to give as much feedback as possible. The idea is behind these custom factions to let them grow, to evolve them together, because new factions, new custom content helps keeps the game alive, even in times of drought. Let's call it like this. And we want to give you as many tools as possible to enjoy the game, bring in your own ideas. As we've already did with our custom NCU units contests, and our aim is to deliver more content to you as players and make them available in the TTS.
Yes, well said. And I promise you there will be more on custom stuff shortly. Not spoilering too much, but it was great having you on this episode. And I feel, Pascal, there's nothing more to say than until we meet again. Roll those crits, guys.
Come for the hits and stay for the crits.